I think the phrase side hustle is the biggest lie ever. And it is the biggest lie we tell ourselves if we want to make a business of whatever we are doing. The moment we call something a side hustle, we automatically we treat it like a hobby instead of a business. You don't give it your best hours. You don't invest properly in it. You don't take it kind of seriously either. And then a year later, you wonder why it never became a real business. Maybe the problem is not that we don't treat a business as a business, is the way we phrase it. If we call it a hobby, then it is a hobby. If it is a side hustle, then it is a side hustle. If it is a business, then it is a business. Let's stop treating it like a side hustle. Most people say it's only my side hustle. That sounds kind of harmless. But what you're really saying is isn't real, or this is not important enough. If your business only gets energy you have left after work, after Netflix, after kind of scrolling all night long, after everything else, how would you expect it to replace your income? How would you expect it to replace your job? How do you expect it to be something you call a proper business? Because a proper business is something that you give all your energy, something you give all the time. You give it your best hours. You wake up in the morning, you are fresh, you had your coffee, whatever. You have got enough energy for it in the morning. You have got enough energy at the start of the day. So you can't call that a side hustle anymore. It is your business. But if you spend all day doing something else, and then you come at the end of the day and you decide, you know what, I'm going to have a look at what's happening, I'll check this and that, I will do this, and that's me done of the day. You can't treat it like that. That's not a business anymore. That is a hobby. That is really side hustle. But also, it is not even a side hustle. It's something that you have fun at the end of the day, trying to check, trying to tick, in the end of the day, and that's pretty much it. Because that way, you are actually not building a business, you are building a second job. A lot of people don't actually own businesses, they own a second job. Instead of just a normal job, they have got to do another job. If you stop working, the money probably will stop, because it's supposed to be a second job. You are not treating it as a business. That's a freelancing, that's food delivery, that's a trading time for money. And really, a business keeps moving even if you are not in it, even if you are not there. A business keeps moving. That's the difference between a job and a business. You don't ask how much more work I need to do. You ask if this business will work without me or not. If you are not there, will this business survive or not? We all hear, and sometimes we think is a little bit cringe when someone says that I'm sleeping and I'm making money. And some people now, they will laugh about that idea. But if you actually have a business, if you are going for a walk, you are making money. If you are sleeping, you're making money. If you are traveling, you're making money. If you are, I don't know, in a gym, you are making money. That's a business. But what you're trying to do as a side hustle is another job. It is not a business. So which means that if you leave it for a day or two, there is some stuff are not getting done. You have to go back for it and sort some stuff out, because things are not getting done. Unlike a business, when you are there or not, the job is getting done, the work is getting done. It's not you per se doing the job, but the work is getting done regardless of you being there or not. Here is my next point. You have to think bigger than just extra money. Most people get into trying to have a business just to make extra 200, 300, 500 pounds or dollars, whatever currency you're in. And there is nothing wrong with that. But if that's the goal, you will make decisions for, or like someone that want to make extra 500 or 300 or whatever. But if you want to have your own business, you have to think bigger than that. Instead, ask, what could this become in 2 or 3 or maybe 5 years' time? Could it be a business? Could it be a company? Could it be a brand? Could that be a team? Could there be a system? Could there be anything like a big cash flow? Whatever the size of whatever the size you think this business can become, then it will become. But if you are going to think so small as much as just some extra money, then that's what it will stay. It will always stay extra money. And at some point it will disappear because there is not much cash flow coming through. I'm not talking cash per se. I'm talking there is not enough money coming through that it will create it as a company anymore, because there is none of the thinking behind that I need to create that company, or I need to create that business, or I need to create a bigger team to like make my brand bigger or something like that. There is none of that thinking. That's why you will always like make the 100 or 2 or 300. At some point it will just keep slowly disappear, or slowly you will have enough of it that you don't want to have the extra job anymore. It is not worth it anymore. It is taking so much time of your life as an extra job, and it is not paying enough, And that's why when I say that, think of it in a few years' time, what you think of it, like what do you want it to be? Think of it like that, and then slowly the idea of it just couple extra hundreds or whatever, it will slowly disappear. It is good to make a couple extra hundred, but if that's just the goal, then unfortunately, I'm going to tell you that slowly it will disappear. So eventually, it is not going to be there anymore. Either you grow, or the business will disappear. You can't keep it as a side hustle for a long period of time, because at some point it will start taking a lot of your time, and slowly you will start getting bored of it, or you had enough of it, or it is not bringing enough money as your expenses grow. Then you will be like, I need to focus at my work, I don't have enough energy for that. Then it will just disappear. And also, stop confusing being busy with actual growth. Answering emails is not growth. Changing your logo is not growth. Watching another business YouTube videos or whatever, it is not growth. Research have got a limit, and planning also have got a limit. And eventually, what's going to happen is you will need to either publish your work or give up on that. You need to sell, you need to launch the business, you need to kind of get rejected, improve, start again. The market or the public will give you better feedback than the one you give yourself, or the ones you thought of. So at some point you need to start doing. I said this before, too much like lots of information or everyday information, there is like enough. You consume too much information, you consume a lot of information, you know what you are doing, you have got the plan, launch, go for it, try, get rejected, fail, try again, get rejected, fail. At some point you will start growing. As long as you don't give up on your idea, as long as you don't give up on the business that you want to create, as long as you don't give up on your own creation, it will eventually grow, and it will eventually succeed, and it will eventually be successful. So enough of consuming information, enough of like being a sponge, as I said in one of my videos, enough of that, and just start. Enough of all of that. If you watched enough, you have watched enough, you researched enough, you did all of it, enough of that, and start the business. Okay, get how to say it, fail, get rejected, okay, and start your own business. Be done with all that hesitation, with all that I need a little bit more, I need to fix this before I start. All of that, I've been through it. I know what I'm talking about. I know trying to fix this, or trying to get a little bit of money, trying to get a little bit of more time, trying to get a little bit of that. No, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Just start. Do it. Start. And once you start, decide if you are going to treat it as side hustle, or you are going to treat it as a business straight away, so you know what you are doing. You give it your best effort, you give it your best time, you give it your best energy, and all of that. You research it, you did everything, done. The idea is to build something that survives without you. If you disappear for a week, does your business disappear as well? If the answer is yes, I'm going to be honest. If the answer is yes, then you are an employee. You are not a business owner. You are still in a job and an employee. And the goal isn't to work. The goal is not to find another job. The goal is not to find something to do. The goal is to build something that it will eventually work without you being there. I understand that at the start that's not going to happen, but eventually it is not going to be there. You have to build a system, a process, a product, whatever people are going to help you to do all of this, that will create a business to survive without you being there. Like, I'm being completely honest. For me, I still, it's not all automated. I do the Amazon business, if you don't know, and it is not all automated yet, because the idea is, because there is some extra expenses that I'm not ready to pay yet, so I don't want to automate everything, and I'm still able to do it. It only takes me maybe 1 hour in the morning, and maybe at night if I come back home, if I'm not editing a video or I'm putting a video together, then I will look at some items, what I want to sell and things like that. But in general, it will take me 1 day or 2 days a week to put all the items, package it, send it to Amazon, and like maybe 1 or 2 hours in the morning, 2 3 days a week, and that's pretty much it. So it does not consume so much time of my week or of my life that it is annoying me. So that's not happening. But in the meantime, it is like, if I'm not there, I can survive for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks without doing anything. I can order everything, put it, I'm going away for a holiday or whatever. I know what I have got, and that's me. I know my budget. It is not crazy, so I know my limits. But that's grown. That's in a process of growing. But for you to create a business, that's the idea, to kind of create the business. You don't have to, your life does not have to like go around just what you are trying to do within your business. So try to make it as easier for yourself as possible, so you actually have a life as well, and you don't actually have two jobs. One job that you go out in the morning to do, and then when you come back home you are having another job, and if you don't show up at one, and that job kind get in trouble. So don't do that yourself. Just try to make it as easy as possible and create it as a business. Like, see how businesses run. Like, you can see how businesses run. So try to make it as a business instead of a job, instead of being an employee, be an owner of a job. Even if you are the only person who's working at that company, that's still a company, So that's one of the things. Try to build something that can survive without you being there. I'm not saying that at the start it have to survive for a year without you being there. As long as eventually it starts like 2 weeks without you being there, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. As long as you are sleeping and making money, that's the idea. So the idea of this video, to get you to stop calling whatever business you're trying to grow a side hustle. Words matter. If you keep calling something small, it will always stay small. It will never grow. But if you treat it as a company or you treat it as a business, it will at some point grow, and you will protect it. You will learn from it. You will try to grow it anyway, regardless if you are conscious or unconscious. You will try to grow it and invest in it as much as possible. So you never know. At some point, maybe this thing that you call a side hustle right now, with all this mindset changing, it will be something that changes your life, like for the better, changes your entire life pretty much, and that's what we all hope. That's what I want for everyone, that something that they grow and they start small and they grow it to an actual business that can sustain them and can change or replace their income from a job, and live their life and enjoy life a little bit more and get out of being told what to do. Anyway, this video get longer and longer. I hope this video gives you a bit of value. I hope this video give you the kick to stop saying a side hustle at some point. And I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.